Had a good family, I had a good home. I was married and had a beautiful home and the husband and the children, and just through bad life decisions and whatnot, I ended up in a bad situation, and I needed a job.
Angie came in to speak with the county manager, and she was going through a rough time. She was going through a divorce, and she had small children, and was just kind of looking for some sort of assistance.
Wadi actually employed me here. I was able to be part of their temporary 6-month CSBG, I think is what it's called. I did that for 6 months, and then I did the other workforce program, I believe it is, for 6 months. So I did part-time and then moved into full-time, and I was able to just do things that I didn't even know. After going through the trauma that we went through, it was kind of a blow to your confidence, and they built me back up and have propelled me to where I'm at now.
She went from not working to working, and, having relied on a husband to, support her and her kids, to learning to rely on herself.
My motivation was my kids. I couldn't let my kids down. They're my number one goal in everything. I knew that there wasn't a choice. We didn't have a backup plan. There wasn't really anywhere for us to go if we lost the house. The house was 2 months behind on mortgage payments. I had to do something. I had to step into action, and I did. You have two options. You either get up and go, or you lay down and die. And I wasn't gonna die. I wasn't gonna let it eat me up. And this place helped me bounce back. It helped me, like I said, with my confidence, to boost me out to where I'm at now. I never would have imagined I'm doing what I'm doing now.
I think she's done wonderful. I mean, she provides everything for her kids, all by herself. And letting her kids know, just trust in yourself and believe in yourself, and you can do it.
I think at this point my goals are to just keep learning, to keep moving forward. What I learned here propelled me into where I'm at right now, as the IT manager and the co-manager of the housewares and clothing department. It's taught me a lot, but I want to keep learning. I want to keep growing. My family, I want them to see that even though you're faced with adversity, you can still learn, you can still grow, you can become a better person.
My name's Marcia. I have 3 children, 13, 9, and 5. My 5-year-old Margaret goes to Head Start at the Springbrook location. I started with Head Start because I made a decision last May to go into graduate study program. A few different reasons. I was having issues with my ex-husband not paying for childcare, so I was working and just paying for all the childcare myself, and at basically a dead-end job without growth. So I've been very interested in mental health the last couple of years, and so I decided to pivot my career into graduate studies as a clinical mental health counselor. I know about Head Start. I actually went to Head Start when I was like 3 and 4. And I know it's a great program. It really helps out that it's free for low-income people, so I decided to apply so that Maggie, my littlest, could have the school and the socialization, and then and she could still get ready, like pre-K, get ready for kindergarten. So it's helped that way, but it also helps with my studying, and then also I do my own self-care, because my own self-care helps me have the mental capacity to help others. I can't, if I'm burnt out, I'm not going to be able to help others. The same philosophy, like if you're going down in a plane, you put on your mask first so then you can help others around you. The separation happened, and then like 6 weeks later, COVID happened. And so it was a new experience, and it's hard. I don't want the kids to suffer or have any issues because of COVID or the separation and divorce. So it was just a hard time. I had to really pull us together and focus on the kids and focus on trying to be healthier for them. I don't like to focus on the negative things. I like to focus on like the silver, like there's a dark cloud, and focus on the silver lining. And what can I do to improve? And also, it's good to focus on yourself and how I can improve and not things out of your control, because you don't get to pick that. So there's a lot of things in life out of your control, but the one thing that is in control is how you behave and act and the ways you can work to improve your life and others' lives. I think Head Start, I think it's just Project Now and Head Start, they're just great programs to help out the community, and it's really appreciate that the programs are here and available.
I reached out to CETA for help looking for a job and also school training. I always thought about doing phlebotomy, so I know they had a program, so I reached out to them and I got in the program thanks to Corey, and yeah, it's been really good since then. I learned a lot and got to experience something new. It was something I always was interested in high school, and it's pretty much drawing blood. So you draw blood for labs to see what type of illnesses you have, just everything with the blood. Doing it alone was kind of hard. I didn't know what direction to go. So just having that support, and that there actually is an agency for that type of support, was very helpful for me. Everybody was so helpful. No question I asked was irritating. I worked with Rena. She was really helpful too. She helped me navigate every avenue of help. I got help for summer camp. My son rode horses. He went to the museum. He got to experience a lot of things that I wasn't necessarily able to do during that time. So just to have an organization to help me financially pay that was awesome, so that he can have a enriched summer while I was going to school and looking for a job. One thing I did like about them, even though I know everybody has a different department, they all work together to help me. So it was like, well, let me contact her about this, and well, let me send this. So they was working together. So I like that, to get to the end result. So I'm always telling people, CETA, you need help, CETA, yeah. Because it's just a great organization.
The process started in, I believe, 2009 for the divorce. So at that time, we were still in the same house, the father and I. But as we went our separate ways, things just kind of spent out of control. I have 3 boys. Now they're 25, 23, and 16. But they were much younger when this process started. They were in their teens. I was pretty much to the point where I thought there was no more kind people in the earth. And people don't know how close to the edge you be. And one wrong word can just tick you off for nothing. There was plenty of times where you judge yourself, you come down hard on yourself, because that's no place you want you or your children to be. I was working with her through the school. I had to inform them that I was homeless to get transportation for my son to get back and forth to school, which they provided. And the Flora Community Service came there and introduced themselves and with the information they have, and told them if they know of anybody. And a teacher reached out to her, gave her my name and phone number, and that's how I came in contact with them. And ever since then, it's been a turnaround. It was great. I told her what I was seeking and what I was planning to do. At that time, we were living in a motel. We had been there probably going on 2 years when I met her. They had a good relationship with this complex that I live in now, which is in Willowbrook. She sent me over there, and I talked to them, and I filled out the paperwork, and the community service, they paid the first month's rent and the deposit. She introduced me to the car program, and they did provide me with a 2016 Toyota Corolla with less than 9,000 miles on it. And that's been helpful. And she introduced me also to Light Heat, which I just recently had to use that. Prior to now, I didn't have to use that service. but she did provide that with me. She provided financial information, and how to build your credit and how to save and all that. I try to put my best effort forward when it comes to the goals that we set. I try to do the best I can in that with the information I have, and I try to fulfill every obligation that I said I would fill. And hopefully in the future, I would like to do work in community service or especially for homelessness. And so, and then from there, hopefully we can leave a mark that won't be erased.
I was on benzos and opiates for 24 years. I started the benzos at 16. The psychiatrist just said I needed them for anxiety, never took me off. The opiates, I've had back problems since I was 16. The doctors that would write them, it never got too bad enough for them to say you don't need them, Before I went to rehab, I was in Centralia. I had totaled a car into the post office here in Centralia. My mental health was shot from drugs, just trauma. I then seen that I needed to start a new journey. So I had called a rehab, Just Believe. It's in Port St. Lucie, Florida, and they got me on a flight, took me there. It taught me things that I was not able to grasp from Illinois. I think I had to separate from my family, friends, just start doing everything different. I think the lowest was whenever I had to go to the women's center, because after I got sober, I thought, I did it, that's it. But underneath, when I went back to my home, ex-husband now, like the relationship was still unhealthy. There was nothing had changed on that part. So I knew then I had to change myself. And that is when I went to Carbondale. And I think that was the lowest point of my life. Like going to the homeless shelter, being homeless. My family, didn't trust me yet. They didn't want me around. And it was just like, that was it.
I first met Courtney in 2020. She had been in a women's shelter, getting ready to be released and looking to come back to this area where she was from to find housing. She needed rental housing. I told her about our LIHEAP program, for utilities, and we just had a lot of resources available.
Food they've helped us with. When I was in domestic situations, they got us a motel room. They paid for it for a couple weeks till we, could get another place. They have helped with gas, to get back and forth to doctors or work. I think at one point, rent, they paid for my rent just this last year because I was laid off, and it kept me grounded in my faith to know, I can reach out to them for help because they're always going to be there. I try to come to them first, but not overly ask for help. I try to really do my part.
I think that there were several times that she fell, and she was able to regroup and come through it. And I think she finally, was able to get help in the right way, and it got her through it. And also, she has a lot of drive, and she wanted her son's life to be good. And so I think she pushed through, and she's involved with her church. And so her life has totally changed around.
I think my kids are all doing better. I think they were scared to see me whenever I was, lost in addiction, because they didn't know if I was going to live or die. And now it's like they look at me and they don't have to worry about me because they know my mom's okay. I'm now looking for employment in the community action agencies to services to help people with the things that I have learned. And
guide them the way that I've been guided, and to teach anyone, that I can, what I've learned over the last 4 years.
I think she could be, a good caseworker at some place like BCMW.
She's just a perfect example of, what someone can do with resources in place, with all the resources we had available at that time to help her get on her feet.
If anybody watching this finds inspiration and hope in this message, just know, take the risk and reach out, because people are there that do care and are willing to help you. Don't let fear stop you.
I'm a mom of 3 kids. They're 14, 13, and 5. I was a really young mom, teen mom. It was very difficult living in a small community. They had never really had too many teenage moms or, pregnant teenagers back then. So I was not able to complete high school, health issues with me being pregnant and all of that. So I signed up for a GED program, and because my testing scores were so high, there's no reason why you should wait until you're 17 to be able to take your test. So I was the youngest person in the state to get my GED at 16, and that was in 2010. The job center is where I first started. The job center, they just had all these little programs to kind of help. And like I said, I was 16, I had 2 children. So, I was just trying to find resources to kind of help me, keep my head above water so I could, finish school and find a job, so I could take care of the girls. So I went through there, and they, told me to reach out to Illinois Valley, and I did that. And I've known Melinda since I was 16. Here I am 30, so she's watched me grow. When my girls were younger, she really helped me, in different ways as far as housing and Head Start for the girls and all that other stuff. So then when I decided to do my CNA program, which I complete in 2 weeks, I reached out to her, and they have a program that helps with a lot of things, from paying our tuition, are helping us, with our books and our scrubs for our clinicals, our gas. We get, a stipend for gas every week, and, so I'm extremely grateful. Extremely grateful. Not saying that I couldn't have done it, my main focus is trying to take care of my children. So I felt like with the help of Illinois Valley, I didn't have to stress as much over other stuff. My son has never lived in a different house. He's only been in the house that we live in now. So that's a really great feeling, to be in one place for 5 years. And then I've been working here. It'll be 4 years next month. So it just, to have continuous stability, it's really nice. It is really nice. I mean, I've kind of been through everything, the homelessness, the, trying to figure out how I was going to, feed my kids at one point, probably, being without transportation. And, you really, when you do bounce back or you bring yourself out of that situation, it makes you appreciate the small things a lot more. So I'm really appreciative. I take nothing for granted. I'm really grateful, just for this whole experience. It's really been amazing. So.